Okay.
All right. Hey, everyone.
Hello. Happy Thursday.
Just trying to see if I could see the comments. We are jumping on because we wanted to talk about, oops, sorry, I'm trying to pull you guys up. We wanted to talk about the fact that there's only really 2 days left, today and tomorrow, to sign up for the Healthy Christian Woman Bootcamp. But before we get into, what the boot camp is going to be about, we wanted to kind of rule out some people because a lot of times there's a lot of different kinds of people that are listening to it, and we often talk about why you should join the boot camp. But today we wanted to start off with, if you why you shouldn't join. Like if you have these three things, then this boot camp is most likely not for you, and you
Mhm.
probably should not join this boot camp. And so we wanted to kind of explore that, and then that way that could help you make a better decision. Because I think a lot of times when you're hearing to join something, you're like, is it for me? Is it not for me? And sometimes when you hear very point blank what is not, somebody who's not really fit for the boot camp, it really helps you to get more clarity on whether or not you should join or not. So that's what we wanted to start with. So we have these three things that if you fit these three things, and to be honest, you could actually fit all three, or you actually could even just fit one,
Right.
honestly, in this one.
Mhm.
And so the three things are, we're going to start with, um, and this one might sound a little out there, but if you kind of think deep and you kind of just sit down and reflect and say, you know what, is this me, and be honest with yourself, this one might resonate with you. So number one is, you hear all this stuff about getting healthy and all that, but if the truth be told, you really don't want to do the work.
Mm-mm.
It's just it doesn't take all that. It's a little bit too much. Um, and you're just not interested in really rolling up your sleeves and doing the work. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about
Yeah.
what
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So this reminds me of, a podcast interview we had with Lee, and he was
Mhm.
talking about an internal locus of control versus an external locus of control.
Mhm.
And so when you have an internal locus of control, you want to dig in, you want to learn, you want to do the work, you want to take ownership,
Mhm.
really, have that really own the responsibility and the accountability to get it done. Whereas if you have an external locus of control, you kind of want somebody else to do the work for you, and then it's
Mm.
out. So one of the examples that I would give would be something like cleaning my gutters. Like I
Mhm.
have an external locus of control, partly because of the danger or my perceived danger around cleaning my gutters, getting on a
Mhm.
ladder and doing
Mhm.
all that. And then I wouldn't even know how to exactly do it. Like,
Mhm.
so I have no desire to. So that is not something that I have an internal locus of control over.
Mhm.
So what you're talking about here, what we're both talking about, is that if
Mhm.
you don't want to do the work to get healthy and you want somebody else to do it for you, this
Mhm.
boot camp is not for you. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your money,
Mhm.
because we are not going to do the work for you. We're
Mhm.
going to lay out the facts and the
Mhm.
information. We're going to challenge your thinking. We're going to provoke thought. We're going to break down a lot of myths
Mhm.
around getting healthy, such as, well, it runs in my family. That's often, I would say more often than not,
Mhm.
flat out myth.
Mhm.
And so, if that's what we're going to do, but we're not going to like wave a magic wand and
Mhm. Yeah.
30 pounds in a week,
Yeah. I
that's
mean, we're going to give you
hard.
support. We're going to cheer you on. We're going to provide community and support and kind of that buffer that you need to to do this on your own. So you're not going to be out there on your own, but ultimately it's going to come down to, like you're saying, Gigi, you doing the work. And I love that you kind of brought in this internal and external locus, because it's something that, you know, sit down and say to yourself, is this an internal thing? Like, is this something that's bubbling up on the inside of me that I'm like, you know what, I just got to do something? Or is it something that, I know I got a problem, but it is what it is. Like, you have to be able to sense that about yourself. And if you are having that external where it's like, nah, I'm looking for somebody to do it for me, or looking for a solution that will solve it with the least amount of my participation, then you could just say, you know what, this boot camp is not for me. But it also might help you identify that you do have that burning internal desire inside, and you're like, you know what, I really would do the work. I just need the support, and I just need the guidance on what work I need to do. If that's you, then go ahead and sign up and don't wait. But the other external one, we're just saying, don't sign up. It's not a fit. And so let's get to the second one.
Yeah. Before we go to the second one, I just want to say hi to Carlene, Yolanda, and
hey,
Lorizi. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. So we got a few people tuning in from Facebook and YouTube. So thanks for joining.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Awesome. So guys, if you want to put in the comment, you know, do you think you're an internal when it comes to locus, or external based on your health? Go ahead and put it in the comment. I think that was a profound revelation there. Just be honest. Put it this way: it's no judgment. It's not about one is necessary. We're not saying you're a good person, this person's a bad person. We're just acknowledging this is where I'm at today. Doesn't mean you can't change 5 years from now. Okay, Arlene says she's an internal. Sweet, you know, but it's good to know where you're at so you make the right decisions for yourself. Okay, all right, internal, Lorez. Awesome. So if you're an internal, you need to be in the boot camp. And if you're an external, just keep it moving, keep it trucking, keep it walking. It's probably not a good fit for you. Maybe something else is. Okay, she said, I need help. You are the help I need. Awesome. So let's get to the number 2, the second reason why, if this is you, then this probably is not a fit, the Healthy Christian Woman Bootcamp, is one, and I'm putting it in a very, you know, cliche way, but we'll get into it deeper. You're okay, like if you have high blood pressure or diabetes or obesity, you're kind of okay with just popping a pill.
Yeah.
Because again, that's part of the external. You're looking for something to solve the problem with the least amount of resistance from you.
Right. Yeah. So a lot of times when we get diagnosed with something, we're faced with the choice of, you know, going on a medication, and the medication, you know, whether it's for high blood pressure or type 2 diabetes. Now we have, you know, other pills out here for like weight loss, for example. There's no exit strategy, right? It's like you're in it for the rest of your life, basically. And for some people, when that happens, they are reluctant to take it, but they take it because they know they have to, but they really don't want to be taking that medication.
Yeah.
And you have other people who take it and just feel like, well, you know, it is what it is. And I don't, you know, I'll just live with the fact that I'm on this medication. And, you know, if you know that the condition was brought on by diet and lifestyle, the good news is that one of the ways to get off of the medication is with diet and lifestyle. And so if you're okay with just being a lifelong taker of those medications for a disease brought on by a poor diet, this boot camp is not for you. But if you are feeling in your heart, in your gut, that you don't want to be trapped in a sick care system for the rest of your life, that you don't like the side effects of the medications, you don't like contributing to this big pharma, you know, machine that is keeping you sick for a long time and making a good amount of money off of your sickness. If that bothers you in any way, then you need to sign up for the boot camp. If it doesn't bother you, then don't sign up.
Yeah. And then here's another thing too. You have that desire, because let's face it, a lot of times, even when we're taking the medications, there's no guarantee that what you're doing is not going to get worse.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's this desire that, you know what, I don't want to leave it up to chance. I don't want to leave it up to whatever of me getting worse, but I want to move in the direction of getting better. Right. And so that's also a choice where some people are like, you know what, I'm going to take my gamble on the medication. I'm going to hope that it will keep things at bay for as long as possible with the least amount of side effect. You take a gamble.
Right.
Where there's some people's like, I'm not willing to gamble that because I don't know I know that road could lead someplace that's very dangerous. It could be a stroke. It could be diabetes getting worse. It could, there's a lot of bad roads out there. You know, it could be gaining so much weight that I feel like I can't even deal with it. And so you're like, you know what? I don't want to roll that dice. Right. I really want to move towards getting better so that I can feel more confident that I'm not just left up to the chance of me getting into something catastrophic. And so, yeah.
I just want to add one thing that, because you just reminded me of something. You know, these medications don't cure the disease. They manage the symptoms of the disease. So even if you decide to be a lifer of these medications, which if you continue, you know, eating the way the way you've been that help to contribute to the disease, then you do need to take those medications, but they don't reverse the unhealthy eating. They don't fix the problem. They manage the symptoms. And the other thing is, and this is why type 2 diabetes, pre-diabetes, which leads to type 2 diabetes, is so insidious, is because when you have type 2 diabetes, you have a greater chance of blindness. You have a greater chance of limb amputations. You have a greater chance of heart disease. You have a greater chance of chronic kidney disease, which then leads to dialysis. You then have a greater risk of cancer, certain types of cancers. So even though, you know, you might be thinking, oh, I'm just taking this pill right now to manage my type 2, that, you know, if you don't address the root cause, like Cersei said, and she's absolutely right on, you increase the risk of these other chronic illnesses that, you know, will require even more medications and then more risk. And then if you, you know, and then just the side effects of all of that. So there's a lot of implications. But if you are okay with that route, then again, this boot camp is not for you. If you're not okay with that route, with that path forward, then you need to sign up for this boot camp.
Yes. Okay. And so the third one is, and I think we kind of alluded to it, we've kind of already said it to some degree, but is you don't necessarily have a deep desire for health. Like health is just not your thing. It might be the last thing on your priority list and you're not interested in kind of putting it up there. And so, yeah.
Yeah. And I would add to that, you know, that deep desire. I think also there's also a blind spot around, you know, if you have this blind spot, and maybe saying if you have it and you're okay with it is not, you know, appropriate, because if you have a blind spot, you won't know you have it, right? That's why it's called a blind spot. That your health is connected to your calling, your divine purpose. If you've not heard that before and you've not like thought about that and made that connection, and that intrigues you, sign up. If it doesn't, and you're like, I don't care about my purpose, I don't care what God called me to do, you know, then don't sign up. This boot camp's not for you. If that is not something that is in your heart that you want to address or you want to learn more about and then take steps to do something.
Yeah. And since it's a blind spot, let's flesh that out a little bit more, because a lot of times people think I could put health down at number 17 on my priority list, and then I have all this other stuff, not realizing that if your health fails, everything that you piled up from 1 to 16 is going to come tumbling down. You know what I'm saying? And so we don't realize that until it happens. And so what we're saying is health has to be a top priority if you really want to accomplish all of these goals and dreams and visions that God has given you to your highest potential. Right. Because once our health is compromised, once we, you know people who've gotten a stroke and then they're in the hospital and then they lose their ability to do certain functions. Some of them, their body was their gift. Some of them, their voice was their gift. Some of them, it's their mental cognitive of giving resources and creativity to the world was their God-given gift. But a stroke can take that out in a second.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's just one example, but it even gets into the minor details of just not having enough energy and clarity and being irritable and all of the things that unhealthy food does in our lives that maybe we don't attribute it to that, but it is playing a role. So it's from the big to the little. If we're not understanding that, wait a minute, I'm not going to be able to show up and be my best self and carry out my calling, and my calling is at risk, especially when we get into those catastrophic times. Right now, for those of you who perhaps never had something major happen, you're in a sweet spot because you have an opportunity to say, nothing has happened catastrophic. I haven't had a stroke. I haven't had a heart bypass surgery or anything like that, but I'm in a position where I could actually control that. I never have to get there. And if you're somebody that has had a stroke or has had something like that, you're still in a spot where you can say, I never have to go back there. So it's once, it's just an important piece to this whole puzzle.
Yeah. So if you happen to come across this live or the replay and it's striking a chord with you, take it as a sign to just go ahead and sign up. It's only $37 over 5 days. It's virtual over Zoom. We have, to kick it off, we do have a meal prep cooking class to help you prepare the food for the 5-day boot camp. And you're basically going to be all set up. So do we want to run through this?
Yeah, we definitely should run through it. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we equip you with a guide that includes prayer, devotional scripture, and recipes in a sample meal plan. Now, if you sign up by tomorrow, you'll be included in the bonus meal prep cooking class. And tomorrow being April the 14th. If you sign up after that, you'll probably miss the bonus. And so you do want to sign up right away. But once we basically start day one on Monday the 17th and go through the 21st. So we're going to just run through each of the 5 days. Cersei, you want to kick us off?
Yeah. So for the first day, first of all, we're going to meet every night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So you're going to have a live session where we're going to get into the nutritional science on why eating like Daniel is so powerful and why we're even detoxing our body from certain foods over the 5 days. So you're going to get an understanding as to why am I eating this way over the 5 days? And you'll learn a lot also too in the meal prep cooking class, but you're going to get a real deep dive session every single night for the 5 nights. So the first night our first theme is going to be why it's important to develop a God-centered self-image when it comes to your health. So we're going to talk about all things getting healthy, from body image to self-esteem to how do you view your health, how do you view yourself, all of those things as women. We're going to get into that and talk about how it impacts the decisions that we make when it's time to get healthy. The second day, we are going to also talk about, or the theme is going to be breaking our addiction to food. We're going to talk about what's your relationship with food? How is it impacting your life? Because a lot of times we don't realize that what's holding us to our unhealthy habits is the fact that we can't pull away from certain foods. And part of that is that we have a poor relationship with food. And so we're going to explore all of that. We're going to talk about that. On day 3, we're going to talk about breaking generational patterns of poor health. Right? Like Gigi was talking about, a lot of times there's this misconception that my lot in life is determined by what my mother had or my grandmother had. So, and I know I've been there, because when I was diagnosed with high blood pressure, I really just thought it was a family thing. So I wasn't even that alarmed, believe it. I was just like, okay, my mom had it, my grandmother had it. It was just like this thing that just seemed like a rite of passage. But all of that, we're going to talk about how you can break the chain in your own family. So that's going to be day 3. Day 4, we are going to talk about the courage to take action. Because I think the greatest failure that we all experience in life is when we know something, but we don't act on it. You know, because knowledge is only a small part of the puzzle. The rest of it is, am I going to live this thing out? Am I going to do it? So we're going to talk about the courage to take action. We're going to talk about how do you utilize the Holy Spirit in your health journey, right? And then, so that's day 4.
Yeah. So day 5 is kind of where we put a bow around everything, because this is where we help you to see that link between your health and your financial wealth. A lot of times we understand the financial piece around, having to pay for out-of-pocket costs for things like medications, doctor's visits for related to the disease. And but we don't always think about other kind of softer costs that add up, things like time away from work, the cost that the caregiver, if you have a family member who's a caregiver or you're a caregiver, just the time away of even setting up doctor's appointments and dealing with insurance companies, and all of that stuff really saps your energy and your time and costs you, even if you're not necessarily, and a lot of times you are paying out of pocket for those things. It still is a time drain, and it's keeping you away from what you were called to do. And then also, just the financial cost to the kingdom, right? Like if you're spending all your time, and we were talking about this yesterday, Cersei, when you feel ill, when something isn't right physically, you're putting more attention on you and you're disconnecting from God. And so, really getting that out of the equation, or at least, really what it is, it's really trying to stack the odds in your favor so that doesn't happen. You got to do all you can. I mean, there's no guarantees, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you want to do the things that God is nudging you to do around your health. And the financial piece around that is, being able to give to the kingdom, being able to do that mission work, being able to help others.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we really kind of help you see that link between your health and your financial wealth.
Yes, yes. So does anybody have any questions or anything like that? We have a few people that are watching here.
Yeah, we've got Carlene. Yes, I need to get to the cause and stop covering up the issues with medications. Help.
Mm-hmm.
Larizi, yes, I agree. God led me to you just now, and my sickness is all about my purpose. And Beatrice, who did sign up, is asking about a shopping list for the meal prep. So yeah, Beatrice, the recipes are in there. And so the ingredients, if you just jump to recipe, the ingredients are all listed there. You've got 2 salad in a jar options. So you just have to pick which one you want to do. And then just go to that recipe. So yeah.
We're going to talk a little bit. So you might want to just do that. If you have any other questions, you could just email us. But when like you said, if you jump to the recipe, you should see. So you have to click on that link that says the recipe name, and then it's going to take you right to the recipe. And then you have to go to jump to the recipe. So there is a couple steps.
All right. How do I sign up? Yeah, there should be a link, but what I'll do is I'm going to pop it into this comment box. Hopefully it'll take. All right.
And I'll try to see. Is that on Facebook?
YouTube.
Oh, it's on YouTube. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, look at that.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it should have popped up the link to sign up.
Yeah.
And and then if you're watching this on the replay, and if you have any questions, just let us know. We'll circle back and look at comments. But really time is running out.
Yeah.
And we only offer this boot camp twice a year, once in January and once now. So you don't want to wait until January. So much can happen between
Mhm.
now and then, especially if you know you've got a health issue. You don't want to wait until January. You may not be able to afford to wait until January. So sign up.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds good. Yeah. And like we said, it's only $37. Invite a friend if you know someone else who might benefit. Go ahead and forward this video, share this video, and invite them to the boot camp as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we're at healthyformypurpose.com is our website, healthyformypurpose.com. And you can learn more about who we are and what we do. We've been on this journey for over 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
We've been walking this walk for over a decade, each
Mm-hmm.
of us. So it's not like you're talking to folks who, just started doing it like 4 months ago. And, we are skilled through not only our life experience, but also in our formal training and education. So
Yeah.
I am a certified nutritionist. Cersei is a health coach and has a master's in divinity, and I've got a master's in nutrition sciences. So we know a thing or two.
Hi, Letitia. I see Letitia on Facebook.
Hey,
Hey there.
Letitia.
So yeah, so go ahead, sign up, guys. Don't delay. Like we said, they're literally, we are down to the wire. Like,
Yeah.
because you really should sign up today so that you can do your grocery shopping this evening or tomorrow, so you'll be ready for the weekend.
Yep.
So you really probably need to sign up like today, like right this second. So
Yep. Yeah. Don't wait.
all right.
All
See you
right.
later. Bye.